Hello. Well, they lose so often. Apparently I thought they did again. Let's do it right this time. I just want to celebrate another game they're winning. I just want to celebrate. Sens win 2-0 over the St. Louis Blues. We're going to savor this win a little bit. Let's be honest, could be the last one of the year. And as a welcome change, they played solid defense, got a shutout, and actually won the game. Thank goodness for the win. There's been more than enough losses recently. As always though, let's kick things off with lineup changes. For the first time in a while, there's actually a bunch of changes. Thomas Chabot is listed as week to week with a broken toe, so he's out of the lineup. Colin White is also dealing with an injury, so he's not in either. Add Christian Jarosz to that list as he continues to recover from a lower body injury, and Mark Borowiecki to that list as well as he was dealing with an illness. All told, the Sens were short 3 defensemen and 1 forward last night. To make up for it, the Sens recalled a pair of defensemen, as Erik Brannstrom and Cody Goloubef were recalled from Belleville. And after signing as a college free agent on Tuesday, Ottawa native Max Verino made his NHL debut, as he and Erik Brannstrom both appeared in their first NHL games last night. So Verino, Brannstrom, and Goloubef all draw in, as White, Borowiecki, and Chabot sit out. In goal, Andy got the night off, as Anders Nilsson got the start. And in the early going especially, Nilsson made Crawford look really smart by giving him the start, as he kept the Sens alive and dominated the first period. The Blues carried the play, outshooting the Sens 13-5, but Nilsson was up to the task each and every time. Considering this was a home game, what an awful start by the Sens. They had 2 power plays to St. Louis's 1 in the first period. They had more takeaways than St. Louis, yet they were outshot by 8. It's just such a terrible start for a team that's at home, has been struggling lately, and is looking for a win to get out of their funk. Of course, Nilsson and the Sens do get lucky to get out of the first period tied, as Sundqvist rang one off the post, and Harper had to pull a trickling puck from behind Anders Nilsson. Thankfully, the second period is a lot better from the Sens, and they turn the game around. After being outshot 13-5 in the first period, the Sens outshoot the Blues 13-8 in the second, and get the period's lone goal. With just over 6.5 minutes left in the second period, Duclair gets the puck in the Blues zone, skates around the top of the zone, passes the puck over to the far side to Bodker. He sees Christian Wolanin sneaking in backdoor. He sends a cross-ice feed to Wolanin. He fires one into a wide-open net, and the Sens lead 1-0. That's Wolanin's 4th goal this season, and first goal since January 18th. Special credit to Wolanin on this play. What a smart heads-up play to sneak down and beat the defender. That's a big-time goal on an incredible passing play at a big-time time. 6.5 minutes left in period 2. The Sens lead 1-0. Thankfully, Nilsson and the Sens hold the fort, and we get to the end of the second period with the Sens continuing to lead 1-0. Unfortunately, we're back to cave-in hockey in the third as the Blues outshoot the Sens 14-3. Nilsson and the Sens continue to hold the fort for more than 16 minutes, but the Blues look like they finally tied the game. Steen takes a pass on a 2-on-1, 1x1, Nilsson gets just enough, puck hits the crossbar, stays out, and the Sens keep their 1-0 lead. Whew. That easily could have gone a lot different. Thankfully, the puck did stay out, and late in the period, the Blues give the Sens a free goal. Craig Berube pulls Jake Allen for the extra attacker. Chris Tierney steals the puck in the Sens zone, carries the puck, hits the red line, fires the puck down the ice, hits the empty net, and the Sens lead 2-0. Free goals! Free goals! Free goals! Free goals! Usually it's us giving them up. We'll take it this time. I still don't like it, but at least it was Ottawa that got the free goal this time. The free goal seals the game, as the Blues no longer have any chance of coming back, and Ottawa skates away with a 2-0 win. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Let's just get into good news, bad news. A lot has been made about Ottawa's lack of talent right now, and while that may be true, Ottawa's future looks bright, and that is the good news. The Sens had two players make their NHL debuts last night, Max Verano and Eric Brandstrom. Verano was the game's third star and finished with a team-high 5 shots, while Brandstrom played nearly 18 minutes and was steady in his own right. It certainly wasn't Brandstrom's best game, but it was far from terrible. Then we have Christian Wolanin, who scored, Rudolf Balcers, who's been pretty steady this season, and Brady Tkachuk, who's been real good. Then other young guys out of the lineup, Colin White, who's had a solid season himself, and Thomas Chabot, who's just been incredible. That's 7 young guys on the Sens, who actually form a pretty good core, and all have been pretty good this season. Then you go down to Belleville. Batherson and Brown have been really good this season. Batherson has shown signs of the NHL level, and Brown has had a really solid second half in the AHL. And there's Alex Formenton, who hasn't had a lot of time to play because of injury, but he's been really good in London himself. And then there's Josh Norris, who had an excellent first half of this season at the University of Michigan before he got hurt at the World Juniors. That's not even all of Ottawa's prospects, and that's a pretty good list. The kids are alright in Ottawa, and that is the good news. Now, for the bad news. Yes, the Sens got a shutout last night, but it was far from a perfect effort. And that is the bad news. We're at game 71 of the season, and we still need to talk about an inability to play a full 60 minutes. I guess at this point, we're just going to be talking about it for the rest of the season. But it needs to stop. Ottawa had a pretty good second period. They outshot the Blues 13-8 and had the lone goal of the period. But the first and third periods, the Blues outshot the Sens 27-8. Ottawa was outshot by 19 shots in the first and third period. That's just unacceptable, not good enough, and not going to win you very many games. Thanks to Nilsson, Ottawa was able to escape last night and pick up the win, but you can't expect to do that very often. If Ottawa wants to win more often, they're going to need to be more consistent. They weren't last night, and that is the bad news. Next up, the Sens return to action on Saturday for a home matchup against the Toronto Maple Leafs. That contest will see the Leafs play in Ottawa twice in 3 weeks, marking the first and second times this season that Toronto has visited Ottawa. It took till March, yet here we are, the first Leafs game in Ottawa. And they become the 31st team to play in Ottawa this season. How is it that Toronto is the last team to come to Ottawa? Anyway, the contest will be the third of 4 meetings on the season between the two teams, with each splitting the first 2 games. The Sens beat the Leafs 5-3 in Toronto in the team's second game of the season on October 6th, and the Leafs returned the favor with a 5-4 win in Toronto on February 6th. While the teams have split the season series, the Sens and Leafs haven't exactly been close this season. The Sens come into the contest last in the NHL standings with 54 points, while the Leafs come into the game 6th in the NHL standings with 89 points and a game in hand on the Sens. The Sens do have the advantage though, as the Leafs come in ice cold, having been blown out in each of their last 2 games, and have to play Philadelphia tonight. The Leafs have to travel, have to play a back-to-back, and haven't been good lately. Advantage? Ottawa. But it's only an advantage if you show up and actually play, so Ottawa better do that. Other than maybe losing to Montreal, there's nothing I hate more than losing to Toronto, so please don't let that happen. See you Saturday night.